Hello, viewers, listeners, everyone. My name is Kendall. I use he, him pronouns. And on the show today, we have Rob Bell. Hello, Rob, and thanks for coming on the show.
It's great to be here.
So, you all may know Rob as an author, speaker, playwright, or pastor. My first dose of the Rob Bell experience was almost 35 years ago in a dark, crowded basement at a church in suburban Chicago where his band, Ton Bundle, was absolutely tearing the roof off the place. This was at something called a Kool-Aid, and it's an absolute core memory of mine. Rob, what do you remember about that time?
Oh, core memory. I like that phrase. Yes. Like when you emailed me, Kool-Aid, I to this day reference Kool-Aid as like a formative moment in my life. Like those genuinely shaped me. Like so profoundly, as much as anything almost. hmm All that energy and because it's cool to give aid and everybody packed in that basement and there was like a swirl of like the the pit and everybody to the back of the room, like the I can remember just getting ready to go on being like, this is the I this is the greatest thing ever. Something communal and something good and rebellious and dangerous and kind. Like it was lots of things all at the same time. That is so
Yeah.
awesome. I get to talk to you about this. It's just so
Yeah, this
awesome.
it's been so fun to like just think back. And so like I was showing Rob this just a second ago. So this is a set list from one of the shows, and it turns out that it was actually September 20th, 1991 was when that show
Oh,
happened. And so it's
let's
like almost
go.
34 years ago to the day. We're recording on September 18th. So yeah, it's wild. It's wild. But let me maybe
Man.
set the stage a little bit about what a Kool-Aid was. So it was like this kind of small church basement, and we jammed like over the course of an evening, thousands of people in there, and we'd get bands from the local area to come in and play, and it was wild and raucous, and high school and college age students and kids, and it was crazy. It was crazy and super fun.
It's interesting you say church basement because that venue was as punk rock as any punk rock venue I've ever been in. Like
Yes,
the
it
smell.
was.
You know what I'm saying? The
Yes,
feel, the it was dank. It met all
yes.
the I don't know what kind of shenanigans were going on upstairs, but it met the requirements. If you didn't know what was upstairs, you'd be like, is there an auto body shop or some
Right.
sort of mysterious masseuse place? I mean, you went into a subterranean portal when you went down those
Yes.
stairs.
Yes. Yes. It was so fun. And like you said, like it was this collection of like weird and wonderful, and it
Yeah,
like drew people from high schools all around, and college
yeah.
students all around. And even I remember people from Chicago. It's like 20, 30 miles west of Chicago. And people from like Chicago, from the city, would come out
Yeah.
just to go
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
Kool-Aid's. It's like
Yeah.
boom, crazy.
It's interesting as you say that because Urban Outfitters didn't exist. So there weren't as many giant corporate entities. Maybe I'm missing something, but it didn't at that time. They're just obviously didn't have the internet, but you didn't have giant corporate entities hoovering up any sort of counterculture or just sucking
Right.
up anything cool and massing it. So you genuinely did have like I've never seen someone in trousers like that. I don't know where he
Right.
even got them. I don't know
Right.
where you
Or
got that jacket. Well, my
yeah.
uncle Bob was in Europe and got it for me. Well, I'm never gonna be able to get one of those jackets. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I'm saying? Like the homogeneity that so dominates now. The alley was selling Doc Martens
Right.
in like uptown Chicago. So you sort of had and those are like Sinead O'Connor were those like British. That was like British The Who wore Doc Martens. I remember I had my
Right.
first pair around that time. But like
Yeah.
you had these sort of emblematic things we were wearing and bands we were referencing, and alternative was still a word. Like I was
Yeah.
like what was alternative? Alternative meant not Bon Jovi.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny. Like I remember one of the early Kool-Aids when we were setting up, Mike, who is one of the other guys who put it on, who maybe we'll have on the show. That would be fun. But he put on Smells Like Teen Spirit. Never heard it before. Nobody had
Oh,
ever heard it
remember
before.
that?
And it was just like, oh, wow, this
Yep.
is something. This is
Yep.
something. And so is that time frame. Now it's like, yeah, it just seems like a distant planet, another world.
Mm. But I was at that time, that band that I was in, and creating songs and playing them, and then the crowd singing them back, and then recording an EP and putting it out on cassette and selling it for $5. I call it I call it creation bias, but I experienced making something and sharing it with people,
Yeah.
and it literally shaped the course of my life. That because it was like this right here.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm doing here. And it
Right.
wasn't even if it was good or not. It was good inside, in the heart. It was
Yeah.
like, and Kool-Aid was, and then you guys organizing it was just a fractal of that. Like
Yeah.
we were making the response to the world was to make stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I was talking with my sister just about this. And it was something that it was like it was cool because I was like I said, I was like a high school freshman or sophomore, and then the other guy was like a senior maybe, and it was like us. We were putting on the show. It wasn't like
Yeah,
adults from the church or
yeah,
whatever. It was
right.
us. And I think that made it a little bit more like there was just some, I'm not saying that I brought the coolness, but it was cool because it
No.
was of
Uh,
of
Oh my God,
some
yes. There was no guy named Don in the back that was like, we probably ought to turn it down.
right.
No, we were in
Yeah.
charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
that band Cattywampus that had that hit song Spork? It's a spoon and a fork, Spork.
1 second. Yes, I do.
Oh my God, you went and got the Cattywampus cassette.
I don't, unfortunately,
No,
I don't have the cassette, but
this is this is oh my God, this is awesome.
I got
I
another one
cannot
for you,
believe
Rob.
you had the Cattywampus cassette. Oh, and then you have there you go. Tom Bundle, Taking My Donkey to Town.
Yep. I don't
Classic.
have the first two. Somehow I lost the first two, but I've got those. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it was formative. Those things have traveled with me every place I've gone, every place I've lived. Yeah, very cool. Very cool time.
Wow.
So, what have you been up to since then, Rob?
In the past 34 years,
Yeah, what have you done?
kind of a continuation of that.
Yeah, you said that in your email. Like, tell me what you mean when you say that. Like, what you mentioned a little bit of just like the spirit that stirred, or like the
Yeah,
feelings that
yeah,
stirred in you. Like, can you trace the thread to like what you're
yeah.
up to today?
Like if somebody says they talk about their career, that I'm just so happy for them, but I don't relate to like a sense of having a career or
Hmm.
uh having a sense of like working a plan or like what are your 5-year goals.
Yeah.
Uh there were things to make and speak and film and paint and tour, and so I just kept following something, and um it was like almost like an intuitive, let's try this next. So at
Hmm.
any point, I don't know what's happening. I don't know where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to be true to this.
Yeah.
Um, so it really did. It really did shape how I understood. And there was always the next thing to make.
Yeah.
And like
Where
today,
did that next
yeah,
where did that next thing to make do you feel like where did that come from, or did it just kind of bubble up and appear?
it arises with within the vast expanse of formless spaciousness that exists within each of us. How's that for an answer? As all
Perfect.
creation does.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally that band Ton Bundle, we wanted it we wanted to be the next REM, and then everybody had to get jobs because college
Right.
was over. And around that time I discovered the sermon as
Hmm.
I came into it as an art form. Like, wait, MLK, I Have a Dream. It's like an art form.
Yeah.
It's like historic, political, poetic. It's got ancient text, it's wisdom, it's the heart, it's the brain, it's the body. And I discovered the sermon as an art form and was like, and it doesn't take as long you don't have to do band rehearsals. Like just, you don't have to haul
Right.
equipment.
Right.
um,
Yeah.
but I really did. Those Kool-Aids and that experience of standing, and we played all that, Tamundo played all over in those years.
Hmm.
That experience of standing on stage with a microphone and connecting with the back of the room, and we're all in this and looking for the melody that everybody could sing about these experiences I was having being a human. Um, the sermon was like, oh, I'm gonna give myself to this. It was like a very specific, I'm gonna see where this can be taken.
Hmm.
What is this? And I hadn't heard anybody really talking about it like an art form, but I was like, yeah, that's what this is. So
Hmm.
I just gave myself to that.
Yeah.
And then, and the
And
world I came from, the tradition I came from, if you're asked, if you find these big questions of what does it mean to be human, what are we doing here? Well, then you would go to seminary, and you would
mhm.
like, and that in my lineage, that's how you would do that. So I went and did that.
Yeah. And when you were there, obviously sermon writing and things like that is something that is taught, right? Like I'm sure that you took a class in seminary
Mhm,
about how do you structure a sermon, et cetera, et
mhm.
cetera. Um, where
I
did
got a B in one of the preaching classes because Claudia, I remember her name, marked me down because I wouldn't stand still behind a lectern.
that
You
sounds
need,
about
you're supposed to
right?
stand still. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like working that. I was like working that stage.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So like how so you're in this setting that is I'm going to teach you how to preach. I'm going to teach you how to do this thing, and you're coming from like over here of
Yes.
like
Yes.
I'm making art. I'm this is an expression. This isn't like a rote thing. How did you square that in school? It sounds like Claudia and you maybe didn't see eye to eye on some things, but were there other pieces
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
your
That's a really,
education that showed up?
yeah, because my reference points were the Talking Heads, those early Red Hot Chili Peppers albums, the Australian protest band Midnight Oil. Like that's what all those, the friends in the band and the friends that you knew, that's what we were all talking about.
Right.
That Nirvana cassette. What is that? Why is that new? That's like qualitatively new, whatever that guy's doing. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so I did. I was like in it, and I was also always on the outside, and like I threw myself in. Okay, so I'm going to go learn all this. I'm going to learn Greek words, etc. But I remember studying with there was a British theologian who had written a systematic theology, which is like showing off. It's like the Premier League of thinking about big things, like a whole shelf of hardbound books. And I
Yeah.
remember taking a class from him, and this was a big deal in that world. It was like serious inside baseball. And I remember one time on maybe a Thursday afternoon around 2:42 p.m., all of a sudden in the middle of his lecture, a very dry, classic British scholar lecture, all of a sudden he went, Roman numeral 4. And I remember being like, oh no. Wait, there were other Roman numerals?
Where have
No.
I been?
Wait. Wait, there was
uh,
this this guy droning for weeks on end. There was like so I would have moments of like, I don't I don't really groove with how and maybe I just was too young and probably just didn't even understand what was going on. But the So yeah, all along I was like, what is here for me? And also, there's probably some new way to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So I was fully into it and also chafing. And
Right.
I remember I worked with high school students. So Southern California high school students were awesome because they were just like, yeah, that worked, that didn't. They were just their feedback. The feedback loop was very, so that actually felt right. I felt right at home with them because it was like I can
Mhm.
try out this thing
Right.
and mess with it and experiment with it and throw myself into it, and they kind of get what I'm doing, and they're with me in this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so then you take preaching, you extend, you go start a church
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah. Like you do.
Um, but yeah, why not? And then that church grows and becomes like a big kind of big deal. People write about it, talk about it, all of these types of things. Then you start writing books. Um, and one of the books is called Velvet Elvis. First book, right? That's your first
Yeah.
book.
Which
It
is a
is
song on
also
that record.
a song, yeah, from
Oh yeah.
Tone Bundle.
It's all there.
Um,
And I do
yeah.
remember, actually, it's interesting you mentioned that. That book came out in the summer of '05, and then in '06 I did my first tour, which was of punk clubs and like music venues.
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah, so
That's
that
the
was like a
Everything is
year after the
Spiritual
first.
tour,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
was
And so
it?
that was like
Yeah.
tour bus in like a different city each night, which was literally I had like a booking agent for one of my favorite bands, and the drummer was a friend of mine. So I just literally that ton bundle just didn't stay. It was just there, really was there the whole
Yeah.
time.
That's interesting. Yeah. That tour, like, I watched a video of that or something. I'm sure that they're all over YouTube or wherever, but
Yeah, we made a film of it, and
a film.
probably
Yeah.
it's on. Yeah,
Okay.
it's on YouTube. '06. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
oh 06 or 7. Oh, probably '07. Mm-hmm.
And again, like that was something that, like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is in it. This is just off the top of my head remembering. You talked about there are spiritual things and there are natural things. There's a reason we use the word supernatural. Tell me if I'm anywhere close to what you said that I'm
I don't
remembering.
remember any of
But
that.
but you talked like maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's something else. But like the idea of like we're talking about some people are talking about different things when we're talking about how the world interacts with spirituality and physicality or the natural world or something like that. That's what I remember. Anyway.
Oh yeah, there's lots of quantum. There was a lot of quantum physics,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what you even mean by materiality, and how if you break things down, they break down cells to molecules to atoms, and atoms can be split, and you discover they're made of subatomic particles, and we discovered that you can split those particles, and those are made up of smaller particles, and those are made up of smaller particles, and as of now, there like 150 particles have been identified. So what you think is solidity, like the chair you're sitting in, is actually a relationship of energy, which then
Yeah.
is quite fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure. And it's one of those things where it's like it kind of broke my brain when well, in 2006 I would have been 30, 20, I don't know, something like that. 30 or 20. I can't do subtraction right now. But like, and it broke my brain a little bit. And so it's like all of these kinds of um like you're very experimental, it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but in the way that you approach things, like there's not a direct path from one thing to the other. It's more, and you mentioned this earlier, but like a little bit about like whatever bubbles up and following that path and following that idea and those types of things. And that I think was really present there, but I think it's also been present in all of the other stuff that you've done and created. Is there a way that you like, do you think through any of this stuff? Like you've written how many books? Like 14 books or something like that, 12 books.
That have been released. There's some
Got it.
turds. There's some turds here in my computer. I'll tell you that right now.
Got it. Got it. But like, how do you know, like, okay, yes, this collection of thoughts, ideas is going to be a book, is going to be a tour, is going to be a,
Hmm.
a video or what have you. Like, what, how does it coalesce into
Yeah.
something that is like
Yeah.
not just floating in your brain?
It's a bit like seeds in the backyard. And you look out the window in the morning and see if any of them have come up out of the earth or sprouted. It's like
Hmm.
tending. Oh, okay. Let's notice that one. Oh, interesting. Oh, that one's still under the earth. That one might just never. And then other things have their own sort of life force, and they just keep emerging. And then you're like, oh,
Hmm.
actually, I have to prune that. That's actually ready. So some it's like it's not mustering them up. It's paying attention,
Hmm.
and then certain things on their own begin to be like, oh yeah, okay, let's give ourselves to that. Let's see where that goes. Um,
Hmm.
and it's very, in some senses, it's very mysterious. I have no idea how it works, but then, like everybody listening to your podcast, you do build up muscles. So whatever spaces we've been in, they work certain ways, and you do build up muscles.
Hmm.
So you're both gaining craft, the trade, the art of it, and there's also a beginner's mind where you begin anew each time, which makes it super interesting. Like the
Hmm.
great architect Louis Kahn would, before designing a building, would say, "What does this building want to be?" So it's like an impelling force. You're noticing. It's like you're interviewing it from the get go.
Hmm.
What does this want to be? What is this? Um, and uh, and then you're following it and seeing. So the mind is engaged, but it's serving something larger than itself. Um,
Hmm.
and you're learning the joy is in the making, and then you've surrendered the outcome. So if somebody else actually finds it interesting, that's amazing.
Right.
And that took a long time to understand what that was. What it took, yeah, it took years to
What
understand
was
how it all um, works.
what was your point of
Because
view
there's a very
before
real
you?
like engagement with um, just learning to throw yourself into it and surrender the outcomes. And so for some, when you bump up against, oh, I can't control how people are going to respond to my action in the world, that can immediately then cause you to step back. Well, then why bother? Um, or to try and control the reactions of others and get it to be something in a fabricated, manipulated sort of way. So there's some you're present and in it and just giving it all you got, and you're also holding it very loosely. That those two things existing at the same time is in many ways the art of it. And yeah, those are the kinds of things that just took years to sort of understood.
What you're talking about, like, is definitely something just from knowing about kind of following along with your life. Like, you know that very specifically and very directly. Like, you can't control the outcome of what people think because people didn't like some of the
Yeah.
things that you said along the way. And is that an understatement?
That happened really early, like really early, like a year
Yeah.
after Ton Bundle. One of the first
Oh,
times I
really?
ever spoke, I was shredded, and I remember going back to my apartment and sitting in this chair that my grandma had, and just devastated with how wobbly it actually is. Yeah, yeah, that was early on, the fall of '92. The fall of '92, yeah, I was 22, and I was like, "Oh, wow, there is a vulnerability to this that I have to make peace with, because if I want to
How
do
did you do
this,
that?
then like turning into the pain and uh in many ways, if you want to do this, then this is what comes with it. So just deal with it now. Like make peace with it now. If you keep bringing it up and keep wondering why it is the way it is, then go sell insurance or go do something else. Not that that wouldn't have its own challenges. Just swap this out for some other set of challenges. But this is what comes with this. So if you're the guy who keeps talking about that dimension of it, um, I remember that. Just make peace with it. This is what comes with it. Otherwise, you're going to spend so much energy pushing against this reality that it's energy you could spend giving yourself to it. So, yeah, and
Yeah.
then I remember going like tour. There would be like people with bullhorns out front, and then death threats later on. Like it was all sort of. There's a certain. The second answer to your question is there's a certain absurdity to some of it because the person's telling you more about themselves. Same with praise, but the person's telling you more about themselves. You just happen to be the face of some fear. So,
Right.
so some of the absurdity of what I experienced, just the cartoonish, over the top nature of it, you, it's like you start to. Blessed are the ones who are in on the joke.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
I wrote a book called Love Wins, and people just enraged. That's just awesome. Like love wins. What a horrible idea. Like you, you know what I mean? Like seriously hot and bothered.
Yeah.
God
Like, did you miss the title? Like, yeah.
so it was painful, and you do feel like, yeah, there's like a, yeah, that's tough stuff. Also, ever so gradually, you start to like tune into this is this is actually just not that much about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Do
part of
you
it.
think that that's a creative, like something with all creative pursuits, or like obviously you were talking about things that are, people's spiritual lives and things like that, but like that vulnerability of putting yourself out there and saying, this is the work that I'm doing. I'm putting this out there into the world.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
are going to like it or not. Like there's that vulnerability, whether it's I'm showing you a painting that I've done or if I'm writing a book, doing a sermon, things like that. Like it seems like there's a slice of the creative life that is that
Oh,
giving yourself up
I
to
can't imagine if you
the
own
output.
like if if you work in a restaurant and somebody comes in, can I see a menu? Here's a menu. They read the menu. Thanks. Put the menu down on the little host table and walk out. Like
Yeah.
any vulnerability is the engine of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Love itself. If you're going to have kids or you're going to fall, I mean, vulnerability is the engine of the whole thing. So it's risk all the way down. It's risk on top of risk on top of risk, and they aren't wearing protective armor. They aren't wearing turtle shells. It's just risk
Yeah.
all the way down. So
Right.
yeah, that
Right.
vulnerability is the engine to the whole thing. Hmm. It's what
Yeah.
moves us about other people. They opened up their heart and made that and showed it to us. Yeah. So um, when people talk about creatives, I'm always a bit fuzzy because an accountant is bringing structural integrity to the money, and if the columns and the money doesn't add up, you can't do whatever you're doing. So how you schedule things on your calendar is a creative act. So
Right.
I would I would be far. You're tuning into creation as opposed to, yes, you're being creative, but at some level, you're just moving with what is. The whole thing is fundamentally a creation and an ongoing creation. And you are
Hmm.
its ongoing creation yourself. And then, of course, you are creating all the time. Um,
Right.
as opposed to these people over here who, you know, are sculptors, which is fine. That's great. It's awesome. It's just, you're hard pressed to find somebody who can't quite quickly, with some minimal self inquiry, discover all of the creation going on.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
remodeling an old car, like the garden beds in the backyard. This is what we
Yeah, I
do.
mean, even like folding our laundry. We all fold our laundry different. You know,
Oh,
I fold my laundry in a certain way, and you know, my shirts are folded this way, and it's like
yeah.
yours may be different. Yours might not
Oh,
even be folded. Like
oh, you
there's
roll. Some guy rolls his. What in the world?
right.
Hangs it from some weird clip on a hanger. What? In the, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know if that's a creative act, but that is participating in this creative
Yeah,
kind
you're
of
doing it how you do it.
situation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, you talk a lot also over time about suffering and creativity, and so that I think is also part of that vulnerability, like letting other people see the suffering that we've experienced, see some of the joy that we've experienced, that type of thing. What do you like? How do you talk about that connection between suffering and creativity?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because it's not like the suffering artist is sort of insufferable to me. Like you have to like suffer for your art is like, come on. Um, I started out as a pastor, and so you get called to the hospital, the funeral home. Uh, you're like walking with people over many years, and so you watch people go through like car accidents and cancer and bankruptcy and all these things. But then over time, I would notice that people would say things like, "Remember that thing that happened to me?" Like, yeah, whew, that was brutal. And they'd say, weirdly enough, like it altered the entire trajectory of my life. And I would notice the person saying, it's like they were circling it with, honestly, now I wouldn't have wished that upon my worst enemy, but I'm kind of, and you could see they want to say grateful, but that feels so incongruous. So
Hmm.
I just kept noticing that when people would talk about the events that have really shaped them, people generally didn't say things like, well, I went camping once.
Right.
Yes, yes, that was shaped. But when you get like, what are the few events that have most shaped you? People talk about loss, death, grief, betrayal.
Yeah.
Um, and seem to be disproportionately more those kinds of things than other experiences. So I just came to there's something creative about these things that we don't seek out that they come for us. And they often have tremendous latent creative energies packed into them. And even a funeral I did in my early days, look at me. Um, I did a lot of funerals and it was fascinating to me to watch how many people were present in a funeral in a way. There was a certain kind of presence, like, oh my God, there's a body in the room. And I
Right.
knew that person and they're gone. And I just watched how many people were listening to their own life with a certain kind of intention and clarity.
Hmm.
Someone they knew died. Um,
Right.
and so it just became somewhat upside down. Like all of these things that we're terrified might happen do this extraordinary transforming work on us often.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's where that came from.
You mentioned a little bit earlier, like the idea of a creative or people getting caught up in I'm not an artist or I'm not creative or I can't draw or what have you. Like when you hear that or when those things come up, like do you first of all do you say anything? If somebody came up to you and was like, Rob, the things you do are so creative and it's so awesome, blah blah blah. I'm just not an artist. I'm not creative like you, Rob. How would you respond to that?
Oh, what do you do when you wake up in the morning? I would ask them granular questions about what they do when they wake up in the
Right.
morning. What do you
Right.
do? What kind of things do you do when you wake up? And then
Yeah.
what? And then what? And it's the and when people ask me what I do, I would generally start telling them what I did that day, starting
Right.
first when I woke up, because it's
Yeah.
actually honest and there's something intimate about it. And generally,
Right.
whatever it is that I would say that I do will be in there somewhere.
Right.
But I just notice how it connects us to each other. really interesting ways. People laugh, but then how do you drink your coffee? If you stop somebody and say, "Well, so I had coffee," and then I guess they're looking at you like, "What?" Then I had a coffee. Like, how do you? And now you're into coffee, but you're also way into this person. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just find that to be super interesting. I imagine I'm like you when there's somebody I've admired and I get to meet them. What kind of car did they come in? What kind of shoes are they wearing? How did they set up their life?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that stuff is fascinating.
it
Like that.
never stops being the most fascinating thing ever.
Yeah, people are so unique and weird and
Yes,
fascinating to
yes.
like to be like, oh, like what about that thing was interesting to you? Like that doesn't
Yep.
make any sense to me. Why was that
Mhm,
important to you or what have you? Like
mhm.
those types of questions, just sitting down with somebody or talking with somebody that you know really well, even to be like, oh, like I just noticed that like you dip your, you know, biscuit in your tea in a particular way and you do it every time. And I just noticed that you do it every time. Like, where did you get that?
Yeah, what's that about? Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's like 49% what they made or what they did or what they started or what caused, and 51%, or maybe it's 50/50, the how.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
How did it come
yeah,
about that that's what your
yeah.
life was? Or how did it come
Yep,
about
yep,
that,
yep,
you drink black coffee or you drink
yep.
coffee with whatever? Yeah. Yeah. People, because everybody's answer is going to be different. And I think that that's
Oh god,
the
it's
beauty.
so interesting to me.
Yeah. So, Rob, what did you do today? Or what do you do? Sorry. What do you do?
What do I do? Well, it was raining, so I didn't go surfing. Uh, Probably would have gone surfing yesterday morning, surfing tomorrow morning, surfing. uh, I did some stretching and Tai Chi, and then I had a coffee.
Nice. How
Um,
do you take your coffee?
m- well, I just used a Chemex for the first time the
Okay.
other day, a pour over
Nice. Yeah.
with bonito beans that are roasted here in Ojai, with a nut pod, almond, coconut, unsweetened, like creamer, which is like the thing for me.
That's the magic.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh,
Nice.
you're oh, this is funny that I'm talking to you today. And then I went to my friend's studio and worked on some songs,
Oh,
recorded some
nice.
songs. Mhm.
Yeah. So you're in a band now. It's still like not still. It's not
And
the same band. It's a different band, right?
I seem to always be making some noise. Yeah, humans on the floor. Mhm.
Right.
And we
Yes.
just started talking about, because my friend who plays on the recordings just moved here to Ojai, and Nolan, that's Brent, and Nolan, who's been engineering this recording at his studio, can play anything. So we were like, we're gonna start playing shows, aren't we? They're like, yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Which just makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That has always been a part. Like, because I know Ton Bundle from
It
35
comes and
years
goes.
ago.
It comes and
And
goes, but
then,
lately it's
yeah.
really Nolan's been is a wonderful friend, but he something about when we get in the studio of his, I like, yeah, lots of songs come out and it's super really, really enjoyable. Really enjoyable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You started your podcast um probably a long time ago. How many years ago was that?
10 years ago.
Ten
We
years
just had
ago.
a live thing at the Playhouse here in Ojai for the 400th episode. Mhm.
Okay.
Who knew?
Yeah. Like when you started that, what was your I think I already know the answer to this because it's probably similar to the other answers that you've provided about creative endeavors, but like what was there? What were you like, yeah, I should start a podcast? Because I recently wrestled with that question of, yeah, I should start a podcast. And then I'm like, well, should I? But
Yeah,
you did.
should is an energetically loaded word that will rarely get you anywhere interesting. It
Yeah,
implies an
yeah,
outside second self. There's only one Kindle. So anytime someone uses in my work with people, anytime someone uses should, we just well, hold on, hold on.
stop there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Same with
That's
supposed
interesting.
to. Um, there's only one us. There isn't some ideal us existing in our brains. That's just the quickest way to punch yourself in the face.
Yeah.
And then go
Oh, that's
searching for
such a
fists.
yeah, that's such a freeing thing though. Like when you let go of that, it's like, oh, and that's ultimately where I got to. It's like, well, yeah, like I want to talk to people and meet
Yeah,
people and, like all of those things. And
want is a much better.
that's what I like. That sounds super interesting to me and super
Hmm.
fun. So I'm going to do that. And
Yeah,
like you say, the outcome is the outcome. Like if people listen to it, awesome, great, whatever.
you're having a
That like,
blast.
yeah, this is what I'm doing it for. It's not for like whatever
Right,
else.
right. Yeah, good,
Yeah.
good. That's why people will enjoy it. Hmm.
Yeah, I hope
Hmm.
so.
That's
Yeah.
the great. That's not even a secret, but that is the great secret right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So like your podcast is have listened off and on. But like a lot of times it's just a thought or that you kind of talk about for the episode or the show. Is that how it kind of comes into your world? You're like you said, the seeds in the backyard, tending to them and being like, I want to press record and go with this.
I'm usually paying attention to something, and I begin to notice a pattern. Generally, something happens,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm noticing how it connects to other things. And uh, like, there's a teacher in there, and always has been. So it's not just I'm not talking off the top of my head. I have structured it and outlined it at some level and thought
Mm-hmm.
through what exactly am I saying here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I if you work at it for enough years, it might sound like you're just talking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
People have
That's
been like,
the
people have not quite your question, but people are like, do you just hit record and just start? Who's that good? Maybe there are people who can just hit record and start like up. That I'm not. I'm nowhere. No, no. I
right.
like jotted down. Where is it? Here we go. Here's some possibly future episodes. Yeah, there's generally a stack of paper. I like paper and pen. I like.
Yeah.
There's a Japanese pen. It's Japanese brand right here, GSO1 Oto. But yeah, generally there's paper somewhere nearby, and I'm sketching, or there
Yeah.
might be a pages document in my computer that is stuff that I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting. There's something there. Hmm.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
eventually it gets clear, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'll call it this, and we'll go here, then we'll go there, and then, hmm, and then it
And
kind of
is
morphed over the years. It gets longer, it gets
yeah.
shorter. I've had to go away from it and then come back to it, keep revisiting, like rediscovering it or how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or at one point, episodes were always long, and then I was like, wait, it's the Robcast. I would think as long as I want. So I would put them out like as records, like a
Yeah.
series of short ones at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to walk away from it in order to come back to it. It's like there's form and spirit, and sometimes you just a whole need form. But if you're working in a particular medium, it's like you have to walk away and reboot the spirit and come in through a different door. That's happened a number of times.
Yeah.
And I would talk to people. So once in a while, I would interview people. And then I stopped for years, and then just recently, I interviewed some people in among me just talking. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's central to something like that is you keep like you'll keep either finding people you want to talk to, or you'll have a different way that you structure how you talk to people, or
Right.
you keep finding your way back in so that it's like a death and then a rebirth within a medium
Yeah.
if you're working in a medium.
Yeah. Like I did a podcast in like 2017, 2018. It was like very baseball specific, but it was like talking to people and I was like, this is awesome. I love doing this. And then I found myself wanting to talk to other types of people. And so I was like, well, like I mean maybe I should do that. And so now
Yeah.
however many years later, 7, 8 years later, I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, I do want to talk to people. Yeah.
Yeah.
More than just baseball people. Something that's interesting to me as as people go through experiences, their life, sometimes you start to feel a little bit untethered or unmoored. Is there a piece of music, art, poetry, writing that you return to when you feel that, like, um, I don't know if it's disconnection from yourself or disconnection from other people or anything like that? Like, what do you turn to?
Well, there's a number of things you're describing: the abyss, the void, the dark night of the month of the soul,
Yeah.
um, the feeling of lostness, like almost like when your taste buds for your life go dull. Uh, and that might be clinical, neurochemical. You might need also, that's a very normal rhythm of life.
Hmm.
And lots of people, we were taught and conditioned how to inoculate ourselves against that.
Yeah.
Like, here's what you quote or remember: the feeling of and we existential angst, the feeling of meaninglessness, purposelessness, is like, well, here's how you fight that, as
Right.
opposed to invite it in. This, in some ways, it comes to remind you this isn't a head game we're playing.
Right.
So your brain is like, why am I down? Why am I feel? Why? I mean, there may be real like diagnoses, but it also may be, yeah, excellent. The void. Like, when I talk about this, how many people are like, oh my God, yes. And if you learn not to fight, if you don't fight it, but you, okay, all right, how often something really interesting is birthed on the other side of it.
Right.
And lots of people in Western culture didn't know what to do with this, so just stuffed it, numbed it. But in my experience, when you talk to people about this, lots and lots and lots of people are like, oh, yeah, the abyss, feeling like, what's the point of anything?
Yeah.
And instead of the mind rushing in with, the point of this, and this is the reason, and this is not an intellectual exercise being a human being. It's a full bodied experience. Often there's just ungrieved grief.
Yeah. Yeah. There, that 100%. Like, I know
So,
growing up for me, like, I was not in touch with that. I was not inviting the shadows in to say, like, I'm going to just sit and feel this
yeah,
anger, frustration, whatever. And so it's been through learning that
yeah,
that's actually a good thing.
yeah,
And like,
yeah, yeah,
that will
yeah.
actually allow me to
Can be quite life changing.
powerful,
Hmm.
life changing. Yeah. And so doing that, I think yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So
In answer to your question, the body, move the body.
yeah.
Generally, something's asking to pass, like it's like a wave, like most emotion. So you just move that body, start walking.
Hmm. And for
um,
you, is that always, not always, but is that surfing? Surfing seems to be a big thing
Surfing,
for you.
hiking. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. I have this like single speed coaster brake, like European roadster bike. It's like the
Hmm.
most simple, and I ride that to my studio space here, and I'll ride over to my friend's house. Just ride
Yeah.
around. But
Nice.
I am noticing how many people. I mean, we now know that what 4% of the 96% of the universe is dark matter, black holes, black dark energy, all that, whatever that means. That somehow that's vital for the life. I'm just noticing how many people. You think about the Industrial Revolution creating worker bees, like clock in, clock out, which is
Yeah.
fine. Responsibility, paying the bills, lovely. Getting things done, fine. But I'm noticing how many people are discovering these deeper rhythms in which things shut down. And if you don't override, but you listen to them, you're weirdly way more productive than ever.
Hmm.
Like an hour or two in a good place is worth who knows how many hours stretched, repressed, distracted, tired.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just fascinated with how many people are moving into more natural rhythms of life in which more actually gets done,
Right.
but in a completely different kind of way.
Yeah. different
And it
context,
probably
different
is like,
spirit.
I mean, lots of it is just the collective emotional body health is like so much higher than it was. People even
Yeah,
realize they have bodies at some
right.
level.
So another question that I have for you, Rob, is when you feel small or unsure, and maybe this is that, maybe I'm just asking the same question with different words. When you feel small or unsure, what do you do? How do you um, kind of get yourself through that or whatever? And maybe, I don't know, it's interesting because I like have these questions written out, and it's like our conversation is in a way already answered them, or you know what I mean? Like it's like, oh yeah, like you move your body, you listen to yourself, you like you pay attention, all of those things. Um yeah, so I don't know if
I,
there's too much to add there.
like I have a couple of friends who we will literally call each other and be like, I got 2 items. And like, don't even say hi. I got 2. And the other one will be like, yeah, I got 1. It's probably going to grow to 3. And it's literally, okay, what's yours? I'm noticing this thing. So I just need to talk it through. Got it. Go. And it's like people that you're walking with who you just, I like had this interaction today and it threw me. And I'm trying to see what it was, what the thing was behind the thing.
Yeah,
And then the friend, like you have these people you're walking with
yeah,
and you like play it out. Okay, play it out.
yeah, yeah.
What,
Ask, ask questions, poke at it a little bit, like yeah.
oh, the best. I love it. I had a friend who we talk most mornings and we'll often talk. He's on the East Coast. We'll often talk around his end of the day. Um, and it's just now, like, I got 3 things. Yeah, good. So do I. Well, who wants to go? Let's go over the one. Okay, go. Man, I had a meeting. Like, he'll just start.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And another friend of mine is a master of. So what's the thought? What's the thought? Is it true? We'll like do some Byron Katie level self inquiry around.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a master of walking with like, what's it telling you? Because the suffering's only between your ears. So
Right.
let's find it. Let's identify it. Oh, there it is. Um, yeah. Generally, solitude and quiet, and I would say following it back to its cave.
Hmm.
Like what is this? It's like a thread, and you pull it. Like what was that? Why did that person evoke such a strong whatever they evoked? What was that about? Who are they? Who was I? What was happening? What did it feel like? What does it remind me of? Um, in my experience and working with people, some doesn't take much self-inquiry to get to lots and lots of things. I mean, I've watched people and myself a couple of questions and we're at like, oh my God, when I was 7, I picked up this story about the world. Like we
Yeah.
we humans are fascinating. We can get really bungled up and get convinced the whole thing is super complex. And then just some silence and spaciousness and stillness and some basic self-inquiry and you can get to so many things so surprisingly quickly. And oftentimes you get to fear, loneliness. I needed the money. I wanted them to like me. I felt small.
Yeah.
I felt big. I felt like
Yeah.
yeah. We're endlessly fascinating and surprising, and we're also like kind of super predictable all at the same time.
Right. Very simple. Very like, yeah. Oh, I was afraid of fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of
Yeah.
times what it boils down. I was afraid that nobody would like me. I was afraid that I
Yeah.
wouldn't get the
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
or I would whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you hope that people feel when they remember being around you?
Oh, interesting. I don't ever think about that. Huh. This man has no hopes for how people would feel when they're that doesn't I'm always fascinated when people talk about their legacy or something. My
Yeah.
legacy. And I always like, what? Like, by the way, you're the last person who decides your legacy, for the record.
Right. You have
That's just
very
the
little
funniest
say in
thing to
that.
me. Here's
Yeah.
how I want to be remembered. I just find all that confound. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? Like, you're trying to control. You're literally trying to control when you're not even here. How controlling are you in this life that you're already trying to control when you're out of here?
Right.
Just do your
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Just eat
No,
the
that's
sandwich, man. Eat the sandwich. You know what I mean? Buy everybody a drink. Just do your thing. We'll be fine.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you'll be fine.
Right.
That's a funny that's a funny question.
Um, so when you're quiet with yourself, you just talked about that solitude and that space. Um, what word or question keeps coming up for you right now?
Uh do I have everything I need? Yes, I
Hmm.
do. Excellent. Do I still have everything I need? Yes. And noticing how much comes from, but what about? And it's not about this moment. I'm finding new depths to how much the mind is like, yeah, but we got to make sure that we're set for that. Is there anything to
Let's,
do about that right now? No. Okay. So, we're good.
yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
It seems like that frees you up to then be like more present. Like there's a lot of just from the beginning of our conversation today and things like that. It's a lot of being in the moment, being present, being with yourself, with your feelings, all of those kinds of things. Is that something that you feel like is I don't know, the key to everything, but like, you know what I mean? Like is that paying
Mhm.
attention, that presence within yourself, that acceptance within yourself, that letting go of other people's expectations or thoughts. Seems like that is like a very fundamental kind of way that you engage with the
Yeah.
world. Is that accurate?
Yes, a clear and quiet mind is what everybody actually wants.
Hmm.
You take that over money, you would take that over fame, you would take that over a clear and quiet and still mind. That's actually wonder and awe and a clear mind. Wonder and
Yeah.
awe about your own existence and a calm, quiet mind. That's you don't want Bitcoin. Come on.
That's not really what you're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
And that's actually
So,
where that's where all your questions about creation, that's where the new creation arises. Is it's quiet and still and things arise. Oh, I could do that thing differently. I could tweak that a little bit. Oh, we could put that stuff in the garage, and that stuff in the garage we could give away, and that thing over there we could paint green. Like you, you get the marching orders at some level.
right.
That's what
Right.
I do. Like here in Ojai, when people come, I do these 2-day events, and people come and sit across from me, and you just watch people find clarity just by
Hmm.
we sit with the person, and I ask them questions. They bring a question, and I ask them questions about their question. But you watch person after person find clarity. You watch people make connections that they never made their entire life about something, and make it like with a certain kind of effortlessness and ease.
Yeah.
It's literally talking on a stage with a microphone now isn't that interesting to me.
Yeah.
I
That's
would
another
much
question I was going to ask was
rather
like,
sit with somebody who has a question and just
yeah,
watch them.
like historically you've gone from that on the stage with a microphone to now you're the things that you're doing are much more collaborative, like you have workshops like you just mentioned and different things like that. um is that because
Oh,
it's
it's the
just
best.
it's more interesting?
Oh, I don't. When nobody knows, I have no idea what the person's gonna say or what's gonna happen or where we're gonna go together. Oh, I love it so much.
That's fascinating. And like, I think that your curiosity about things, like you were talking about, like asking the questions of like kind of just poking at stuff with your friend who asks, says like, I've got a thing. And then you're like, well, tell me about it. And then you're kind of, well, yeah, what about that? And what about this? And it's like you do that with the people that come to these workshops and that type of thing. Do you do that with everybody? Like, is that like if you're like talking to one of your kids or like somebody you meet on the street when you're going for a bike ride, like is that just how you approach interacting with people?
Like, what's going on here? How was your day? What are you learning? Let's
Right.
let's chop it up here.
Yeah.
Are the Clippers going to get fined? Are the Seahawks going to figure out their passing offense? I mean, there's other things as well.
Yeah.
Have you seen the
Right.
new P.T. Anderson film?
Right. Yeah.
um, all the normal stuff. And yeah, oh yeah, like I'm trying to think. Yeah, I have this friend Pete who's a comedian, and yeah, when we get together, we're 2 seconds and we're in,
Yeah.
and it's yeah.
Yeah.
That's the that's how it works. Is you have these people that you're walking with.
Right. Yeah. Well, we do a thing here where I've asked you a bunch of questions, but now I want to turn it around and have you ask a question of me, of our listeners, and eventually Pedro Pascal when we have him on. But what is the question that you want to put out into the world for people to think about or answer?
What is your favorite word?
My favorite word
Mm-hmm.
is fuck. Um,
I did not see that coming. That is awesome.
It
Mm-hmm.
is so versatile. It is a question, it is an exclamation. It is so many different things.
It's the Swiss Army knife of words.
It really is. It really is. And you can put other words there with it that, make it better or different. Um, yeah, that is the answer that is real. Yeah. Yeah.
God, that's
But
good. You had that one you just had that one right there in the pocket.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It is yeah, that is my favorite word. What's your
Well
favorite word?
done.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to narrow it down to 3. First favorite word, zhuzh.
Zhuzh.
Love it. Second
Yes.
favorite word, ay, 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 ay. Love it. Absolute favorite word, unpigeonholable.
Ooh. That's a good one. That's a very one long and descriptive word
Oh,
that
God. I mean, that is like a word at its finest. Other words, just see that word and we're like, I give up.
yeah, I
That's,
got
yeah,
nothing. I
you
got
win.
nothing on that.
Mhm. I got nothing. No notes.
That's it. That is the platonic ideal of a word.
Mhm.
So, Rob, where can people find out about what you're up to if they're like, hey, I know this guy, or I just met this guy for the first time, Rob Bell, and they're liking what you're bringing to the party? Where can they find more information about you?
My site has all the books, plays, paintings, events, workshops, audio books at robbell.com. That's probably the place to start. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Rob,
It
thank you
was
so
so great
much.
talking to you.
Yes, it's been so great to catch up with you and pick your brain a little bit, talk with you, learn about you, and just so appreciate you making the time to come on the show. Thank you so much.
That's great talking to you. Just great. I'll see you at the
Yeah,
next Ton Bundle show.
I can't wait. I want to say thank you to Rob for coming on the show, for making time for us today. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, like wherever you like things on the internet. Feel free to share this with everyone that you know in the whole world. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.
Goodbye, baseball!